Hello everyone, my name is Cybill Sixpence and today I will show you how to build this Oceanside villa and pool because I've got summer, beaches, and vacation vibes on the brain. This build is all about relaxing elegance, soft landscaping, breezy balconies, and a pool that practically begs for a pina colada. So grab your flip-flops or your blocks and let's get to building. Here's your materials list. You just need to find you a nice little beachy place to build, and let's get started. Just as a reminder, as I do in most of my tutorial builds, not every piece of land is going to be perfect right offhand, and sometimes you're going to have to do a little bit of terraforming, but that's okay. You're going to need a 23 by 18 space, and here's how it's mostly broken down. We are going to extend a little piece right here, but it is included in the 23 by 18 space. There is a swimming pool that goes along with this build, but it is completely optional. Maybe you don't want a rectangle pool. You can make your pool any way you want. This is just suggestional. My foundation is made with granite, and with my resource pack, which I'm currently using Mitsuno's 16 Craft resource, it gives me options with my granite so that I can have even more texturing. Whenever I am using elevated foundations, I'd like to leave a little bit of lighting underneath my floors so that we don't end up with mobs spawning in and everything. So I have placed lanterns underneath my foundation, and I'm using an acacia plank for my floors. And again, because of the resource pack, mine is going to look a little different than if you have a different resource pack or if you're just using whatever there is in vanilla. I'm outlining my pool with chiseled sandstone and continuing my terraforming so that my place looks nice, not just the house, but the land around it as well. Adding a back porch on and continuing with the acacia. You'll notice that there is a little bit of different levels here, and I think that's going to just add to the depth to the house. For my decks and for my porches, that is chiseled red sandstone that you see, and I'm going to use that as the base for my pillars. I am lifting up my walls 5 blocks high with sandstone, and then starting with my floors, continuing with the acacia planks. You'll notice that I didn't fill that in all of the way. That's because the rest of the way will be filled with sandstone slabs so that we can have a porch in that area or a deck in that area. For each level that I am raising my floors, so this is 3rd story, it will be an additional 5 blocks high. So this corner end piece being 3 stories high, so that's 15 blocks up. For the windows, I am just punching out 4 blocks and topping them with sandstone stairs on the top and the bottom, and I will be doing that to every window that is 4 blocks. For my larger set windows, I am opening them broadly and then lining them with sandstone walls. I think that also adds a little bit of dimension to the build. I like it a lot, so I'm going to continue doing that. I am outlining all of the different levels of the floor with chiseled sandstone, and that also adds some of the aesthetic looks to the house. For my pillars, I am creating them out of sandstone walls and then topping that with a chiseled sandstone. I'll do that in the back as well, but it apparently was a little later. For my roof, I am using brick stairs all the way up and capping that off with brick slab. I did add 2 more block levels to my corner end piece just so that I do not run my roofs together, but I do use brick stairs for both of those. Just as a decoration, I have selected a very colorful glazed terracotta block, and I am creating a pattern and then outlining that with an assortment of sandstone stairs. Also keeping in mind that for every level I am also adding an acacia flooring to it. Your choice in the glazed terracotta doesn't have to be the same one that I have selected. Pick your favorite color. They're all really pretty. And for that matter, that also goes in the way that you place the blocks to create your design. You do it your way. So while at the current moment you don't see me working on the decks on the front side of the house, I am fixing to come around to the back side and work on this larger one on the second story. I am going to be replacing those sandstone walls with some acacia fencing. I think it just brings out a lot of detail, and trimming that with a chiseled red stones block. As I had mentioned earlier, I'll also bring those pillars up with some sandstone walls and then capping those with some chiseled sandstone. I am adding sandstone stairs on either side of the chiseled block, which I think gives it that nice archway, as well as support for the awning that covers the balcony. For the awning of the balconies, I am using jungle trap doors. I love the way it looks in this texture pack. Down the corners of all of the sides, I am adding acacia signs, skipping every other block. I think I just did this for detailing. I like it. If you have something better in mind, you go ahead and do it your way. And right here, I really start hammering in on those details. I'm going to go around the house, I'm going to add some vines, let that start creeping down. For the windows that will be exposed, we're going to add string later to them so that the vines do not cross over the windows. That's a little irritating to me. It's like a personal pet peeve. For the planter boxes on the back side of the house, I am using moss and then encasing those with jungle trap doors. I'm just going to bone mill them. If you have a specific flower that you would rather use instead, you just go right ahead. Use your favorite flower. For the trimming of the window, I am using jungle trap doors, and then for those that are just like the little single windows, I'm going to also be using an acacia fence gate. I'm going to look over the house and I'm going to make sure that the lighting is proper, because if this was a survival world, I would not want mobs kind of just walking onto my back porch. So I'm going to be putting lighting on the outside and on the inside of the house. Okay, so now for the texturing of the walls, and I'm going to just kind of fly around the house. I'm going to pop holes all in it. It's going to look really ugly for a hot 2 minutes, but we're going to fill those places back in with other variations of the sandstone, like the sandstone brick, and then using those sandstone slabs, which gives me a different variation, as well as I'm also going to be using suspicious sand. So the pool here is pretty optional, but I'll tell you what I've used. I'm using smooth quartz and outlining it again with smooth sandstone. This is a different variation where I'm using two slabs on top of each other and just gives me a different look. So for the pool liner, I'm going to be continuing to use smooth quartz, and the slope between the shallow end and the deep end is going to be in slabs. The outline or the wall of the pool is going to be in quartz pillars. I did decide to incorporate a design in the bottom of my pool using glazed terracotta, yellow concrete, yellow wool, yellow terracotta, cyan terracotta, and brown terracotta. And then of course filling that up with water. Now if you have a different design idea, you go ahead and do your design. Your design is always going to be better than mine, I promise. So for the wall that's going to go around the swimming pool, I'm going to outline the bottom part in chiseled sandstone and then using smooth sandstone stairs, top over bottom, with a 1 block gap between them all. And then in between those stairs, in the gaps that I have left, I'm going to be using sandstone walls. And then of course I have topped all of that with jungle trapdoors. I do see that my groundwork here is a little limited, so I'm going to do some additional terraforming. Don't forget that will always be an option. From here on out, it's just going to be about adding those additional details, cleaning everything up and polishing everything to your liking. I am extending a little bit of a pathway out using the same double slabs for that extra texture that I'm getting from my resource pack, and a little bit of gardening by just bone milling moss block around. Something else that's completely optional but does add a little bit of depth to the house is in the pool area, just adding a little bit of some stair patterning. Of course, if you have a pattern idea or maybe you don't want to, that's okay too. Just go around, add your lighting on the inside and the outside of the house. A few other suggestions would be adding some poolside furniture, some pots with flowers, or maybe even a custom palm tree. And that's it for our Oceanside Villa and Pool. I hope it gave you all the summer vibes. If you had fun building with me, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a little summer in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay cozy, stay creative, and I'll see you in the next build. Bye-bye for now!